Welcome to Uncommon Knowledge. I'm Peter Robinson. By the way, be sure to join us on Facebook at facebook.com/UNC Knowledge. Facebook.com/UNC Knowledge. You can submit questions, comments, and suggestions for guests. A distinguished political scientist, Tim Groseclose, is the Marvin Hoffenberg Professor of American Politics at the University of California at Los Angeles. Dr. Groseclose has also taught at Caltech, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, Ohio State, and Harvard. His new book, Left Turn: How Liberal Media Bias Distorts the American Mind. Tim Groseclose, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Segment 1, PQs. Tim, for years and years and years, conservatives have all been saying the media is biased. And liberals have all been saying, oh yeah, prove it. Along comes Tim Groseclose, and you proved it. Right? Isn't that the point?
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
sure
so let's go through the methodology. This is important because you were methodological. You are a social scientist. The political quotient, I'm quoting from Left Turn, the political quotient, or PQ, is a device I've constructed to measure political views in a precise, objective, and quantitative way. Tell us about the PQ.
It's all based on roll call votes in Congress. And in fact, if anyone wants to go to my website, timgrosclose.com, I have a 40-question quiz. The book has a 10-question quiz. They can look. I've collapsed these roll call votes in Congress, summarized them, and let citizens decide what is their PQ.
So you take roll call votes over how long a period?
Well, the one on my website is only 2009, but I've done this for politicians, and those go from 1947 to 2009.
Okay, so you start as a kind of peg or anchor for the PQ with elected officials,
right,
and the way they have voted.
Right.
So who says whether this or that vote on this or that issue is liberal or conservative? How do you establish the spectrum of views?
Good question. These are based on a liberal interest group called the Americans for Democratic Action. And political scientists have been using ADA scores for years, since 1947.
So you're not scoring it.
Right.
That is to say, you're constructing a device, but it is derivative from somebody else's opinion.
That's right.
About whether a vote is liberal or conservative.
That's right. There's a little technical issue. We have to convert the scores to different years. It's the same issue that teachers have when they want to make two tests equally difficult. They might curve the tests. And I did a paper with Jim Snyder, who's at Harvard now, and Steve Levitt, the Freakonomics author, when Levitt was actually a grad student. We worked on this. And that's the PQ scores are based on ADA scores. With
ADA stands for, again?
Americans for Democratic Action.
All right.
With that minor conversion to make the years comparable, which had the help of Steve Levitt and Jim Snyder.
All right. So you know, because of the way he or she voted, what the political quotient is. You can array along a spectrum from left to right or liberal to conservative any given member of Congress.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
And then how do you array along that spectrum ordinary Americans?
Well,
how would
okay.
what is it about the 10 questions you present in Left Turn that enables me to discover my PQ, which, by the way, would be negative, I'm sure.
Okay, well, maybe not. The 40-question quiz on my website is all the roll call votes that the ADA scored, and then we use the conversion that Levitt, Snyder, and I did. The 10-question quiz, what I did is similar to how a professor might say, well, I'd like these tests to be equally difficult. You have to find questions that are equally difficult. So I picked 10 questions. It was actually a precise statistical method that said these 10 questions have the average difficulty in terms of answering on the liberal side as the other 40 questions.
Okay. And we should also note that all of this, which I'm trying to tease out, but I'm a layman, so when you start talking about precise statistical methods, I think I recoil slightly. But all this book is based on on an article that appeared in what journal?
Well, the media bias one was Quarterly Journal of Economics,
which is published by
Harvard professors.
So what you're talking about is something that made it through peer review.
That's right.
In one of the academia's, to be published in one of academia's most respected journals, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay,
yes.
So give us an idea where ordinary Americans stand on this PQ, this political quotient scale.
Okay, so by my estimate, the average PQ of the average American is 50.4.
You did that intentionally to put it at 50 as a kind of index?
I kind of did, actually, yeah. So there's different years which would give a different number, and I intentionally picked a year. It's kind of like the same issue that happens with price inflation indexes. You have to choose a base year, and so I chose a base year 1999, so that's the ADA's.
Okay. So if the average American, ordinary American, is at about 50, who's a very liberal politician whose name we would recognize? Where's somebody at about, who's close to 100?
Nancy Pelosi, Barney Frank.
Nancy Pelosi and Barney Frank are at 100. Ordinary American at 50. Where do conservative politicians fall?
0, for instance, would be Michelle Bachmann, Jim DeMint.
Got it.